It's been a year.
Yes. Next month will be a year. So, really excited.
Yeah.
I came here optimistic, and I'll remain optimistic.
Talk to me about some of the positives before we get into the challenges.
Positive, I'll say this. Personally, I was well welcomed in Buffalo community as a whole. Folks were really inviting. The fact that I led a district in Durham, North Carolina, with 33,000 students, pretty much the same demographic as Buffalo, 81% minority students. We've done some good work there. When I came here, it did not take me long to figure out what needed to be done here in Buffalo. We've done a lot just in my 11th month. I was able to reorganize our principals meeting to make sure that elementary and high school are all in the same place, talking pretty much the same language, looking at that vertical alignment, making sure that we are all communicating the same expectations. I think my principals, they were able to embrace me, and I'm feeling really positive to see the conversation we had and the impact that is happening in the classrooms. When it comes to finance, I came in the district roughly about $80 million in deficit. We have it reduced for this budget to $66 million. From 78 to 66, that's $12 million.
Okay.
We cut it down to $12 million. That's huge. We are pretty much maintaining the same level of services to our students because I said I'm not going to shoot myself on the foot. Priority number one is student achievement. We want to balance the budget, but we're going to do it in a very smart way. That's what we did. We're able to reduce a lot of positions at the central office, even though we're able to increase class size, but the quality of instruction should remain the same. I'm really pleased with what we're able to do with finance. Moving forward, next year, 27-28, depending on the conversation that's going to be or taking place when it comes to school closing, my goal is pretty much to get to a point where our deficit is around somewhere around $20 to $30 million. Then I'll feel really good if that's going to be the budget for next year. So I'm feeling really positive about budget. Student achievement, I've been here for 11 months. We've been able to put some good things in place. We're still waiting for the state assessment result, which is going to be available sometime around probably September, October. I'm really optimistic. We're going to see a little bit gain. But next year, 27-28, with the implementation of our strategic plan, we're going to see a big bump. That's just been my experience. I'm very pleased to report to the community, those that did not follow the work that we did with our strategic plan. We had about 60 persons in our community, you name it, elected officials, civic organization leaders, faith-based community, business community, and our educators. We're all around the same room for several sessions, and we came up with a really robust strategic plan with clear goals, smart goals, benchmark how we're going to be able to position ourselves short and long term. 27 all the way to 31. So very pleased with the work that we did with our strategic plan. So my first year was pretty much to be able to assess the community, what we have in place, and have some quick wins, which we're going to see pretty much in our results, and then be able to have that strategic plan that we're going to kick it off in September. So that's a big win for us.
It's good to hear that the first year you were all about assessment. You have a board. Obviously, it's not all together.
Yeah.
As a superintendent coming in and to see a school board member resign and now you have to fill that spot or that spot has to be filled, what's happening there?
It's very unfortunate. Cindy McKicken was a good board member. You know, I meet with my board members on the business sessions, but we also meet on one-on-one. We sometimes have lunch together or they come to my office. She was a good board member. Very unfortunate she left. I wish I could convince her to stay, but she made her own decision. When it comes to board pretty much set up the vision for the district. And then the superintendent is the one that's around the district day-to-day operation. So when board is not getting along, that impacts the operation. But I've been around for a long time. I've been superintendent for 10 years. I'm trying to navigate that chaos without really impacting the work that we have to do.
One of the things I think was brought up was transparency. Things may be happening and people just aren't aware. Is that something that the district needs to do a better job of?
I think I'll be the wrong person to answer that question. That will be up to the board president, the board leadership to be able to answer that question. But the only play to me that I'm going to ask our board, if they are well organized, they're handling the board business really well, that's going to have a positive impact in the operation of the whole district, which is going to have impact in the classroom. So eventually they're working with some counselors or facilitators that are working with them from the Great Council of Schools, that they'll be able to get along and be able to focus on the board business so that the superintendent will be able to continue the work with operation, which is going to have positive impact on student achievement.
How will that seat be filled? Do you fill it or the board has to look for someone to fill it?
The board has to fill
Okay.
that. I think they have a deadline of July 13th for interested candidates to be able to submit their names, and that the board will be their own voting to see who's going to be the next person. Superintendent does not have anything to do with that.
Right. You listen to what some parents are saying. Right now, what we saw happen at Hutch Tech, that alumni is strong because that school has always been strong. And we saw what happened with the teacher aide. And I know you can't comment on the nuances, but starting to hear people come out of the woodwork now saying, I was a teacher or a teacher aide, and, I've been hit with child abuse. What is happening? What is going on with
Let me
this?
tell you this. I've been in education for 30 years in North Carolina, and I travel around the nation. So what happened in Hutch Tech is not only unique to Hutch Tech. Hutch Tech is a wonderful school with a great alumni. We should not take one situation to be able to extrapolate that and blaming the quality of the school. Hutch Tech is a wonderful school. That's what I'll say. Incident like that is very unfortunate. Students should know not to put their hands on adults and not even fighting among themselves. I cannot comment too much who started. I have all the details, but I cannot comment on that. But this is what I'll say. It was one incident that should not jeopardize the reputation of a great school like Hutch Tech. Kids fight. Unfortunately, sometimes kids get to the point where they have to argue with adults, which is not supposed to happen. So our job as educators, as well as parents, we have to make sure that there's that line that we cannot cross. That respect needs to be in place.
And it wasn't just a one incident. I mean,
It was one incident.
At Hutch
It was
Tech, but we've heard from other teachers.
No, there was one incident
At
only.
Tech,
Yeah.
right. These other
Where-
people
where the
coming out
others-
of the woodwork saying,
No, there was just one incident. I keep on emphasizing that. One incident where there are the fight among students. Probably one or two happened before in Hutch Tech, like it can happen in
I'm
any
not
high
saying
school.
not at just Hutch Tech,
Yeah.
but other schools
Yeah.
where people
Adults.
have been charged with child abuse. Have you heard about that?
No,
Has that been put on your...
not at all. Anything that's come to me, we will go to the legal departments that we have. Folks they exaggerate sometimes. That's why the media have to come to the right source, superintendent of the district, then I'll give all the facts. We're not pushing anything under the rug. Any situation that's come to us that we can comment, that's what I'm doing. If we cannot comment, we know either it's HR or our legal team, they're working on that.
And that's
So,
why I thought it was proper to ask you. We saw what happened in the city over the weekend, the 4th of July weekend. These young people, many of them are Buffalo Public School students. What's needed to get their mindset right? Do we need an alternative school again?
There's no simple solution to problems like that. In the last probably 10, 20 years, we've been expecting school system to be able to solve all the problems. These are society problems that school system we need to get involved. The city need to be involved. Elected official in general, they need to be involved, county included. So we have to use the approach of, it takes a village to be able to address that. Would after school alone resolve these problems? No. when you look at this particular incident, if something happened, let's say 9 or 11 p.m., let's say we had after-school program, which could have stopped around 7, 8 p.m. So parents got to be responsible to make sure they know where the kids are. Educators, we got to make sure we're providing opportunities for our students to feel like they belong and they have a bright future so they can make good decisions. Elected officials, they got to be able to provide programming and other venues for our students also to be able to go and be with their friend and be able to socialize. So again, it's not one simple solution to the problem. It's a problem that all of us got to be able to sit around the tables and be able to come up with some short and long-term solutions.
Are you aware of how the alternative school was effective when it was here years ago?
So we still have alternative school at School 131. But I think I took to our Board of Education probably a couple months ago, we voted on a new model of alternative school, which is going to start from 8 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m., extended hours. So it's not going to be just for students that have behavior problems. It's going to be also for students that may have daycare issues and things of that nature. It's going to be really extended program. Kudos to our board for supporting that. It's going to happen. We're going to start that at 27, 28.
Okay.
This year, we're just going to hire a principal and some of the staffing so they can start preparing for 1 year. So that is going to be also a game changer. And again, is that just one thing that's going to solve all the problems? No. Alternative program, alternative school will not be the only solution to the problems that we're facing in our society.
Any final comments you want to say to the parents of the city of Buffalo?
It's going to take all of us to make sure that we give our students proper education so they can have a bright future. And I always like to brag about my background. I was not born here, finished high school, came to the United States about 40 years ago. I knew education was the panacea. I knew that education was the solution. That has been my mission for the last 30 years, making sure that students get quality education and having a bright future. That will derail them from making decisions that's not appropriate. So we have to wrap around all those students, make sure that we give them a quality education so they can have a shot in life.
Thank you for being candid.